Even a man is confused as to why conservative men have such an issue with liberal women not wanting them. I am not the green screen type, but we're going to give this a go. So this is an article from the Medium. You have to pay to use this, so I'm probably going to start making more content talking about it. But this guy writes, liberal woman dumps her conservative boyfriend, right-wing men proceed to rage. And he says, hang on, I thought y'all don't care for liberal women, because that's what I thought the fuck too. So essentially, this article was inspired by a Reddit subreddit that the author had seen talking about, I'm going to just say T-Daddy supporters, okay? And essentially, someone had asked, has your T-Daddy support cost you in the dating arena? And are you open about your politics in seeking a romantic partner? And he pretty much wrote that they say that they generally do not volunteer such information, but if prompted, they wouldn't lie. Okay, that green screen shit is not for me, so I'm gonna just read the article for y'all. This sentiment was often echoed by other commentators, most of them male, with some adding that politics should not matter in relationships or that compatibility is more than who you vote for. I don't volunteer the info, but I've never lied about my politics on dates, which is stated by Flussages. And then there were those who took a defensive approach, like the glittery cactus, who said they would not even look twice at anyone who made politics their identity, which in my opinion is code for I do not like people who are overly progressive. If they met a conservative who did the same, they probably would not mind. Swipe, I want nothing to do with women and anyone else who make politics their identity. Fast forward to the present. A video of a liberal woman has gone viral after she shared her story about ending a 5-month relationship with her conservative-leaning boyfriend, all because he would not vote in her favor. And guess who is mad? That's right, it's conservative men. The very type of men who say they do not judge based on politics, and that if women put their politics front and center, they are as good as invisible to them. And yet here we are. I couldn't help but to think back to that post 5 months ago. It makes the inconsistency all more jarring. If conservative men genuinely did not care about liberal women, they wouldn't be getting so triggered. You certainly wouldn't see them posting comments like, liberal women are the most vile, hateful, insufferable, and toxic species on earth. Or, she seems like a foul-mouthed whore, dodged a bullet. And this sort of zany, screaming child should be avoided at all costs. She is guaranteed at least one divorce, even from the cuck liberal husband she eventually finds. Women have the right to leave for whatever reason. It's not just a right reserved for women either. If you are a man and happen to be dating someone whose politics you disagree with, you too can break up with them if you want. Politics for some is so intrinsically tied to their value system, worldview, morals, and interests that it becomes part of their very being. You cannot separate the person from the politics, especially considering the current state of affairs. You have the attack on women's sexual rights, discrimination against minorities, the anti-DEI rhetoric, and the bizarre Trumpian economics that have led to a shrinking economy. These are all political decisions that directly affect women. So if liberal women do not want to fuck, date, or get married to you because you helped elect a party that's against them, then that's their prerogative. Deal with it. I just don't understand why some of you conservative men refuse to get this. Mind you, this is a man that's writing this article. When a man is able to see the flaws in men's logic about them claiming that they're looking for compatibility, meanwhile getting mad at women for ending a relationship because they're not compatible, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. There is no logic behind that thought process. But moving forward, the lady in the video is not leaving the relationship because she is crazy, woke, or whatever derogatory adjective you can think of. She's leaving because she knows what she wants, and that is a man who is compatible with her politically. If the boyfriend were socially aware, he should have been able to recognize that skirting in the middle would never fly with this girl. After all, isn't the power of discernment and picking the right partner part of being a so-called masculine leader? Something you traditionalists love to proclaim. How are you going to say, I'm socially liberal, and economically conservative. It's a meaningless statement considering how both cancel each other out. And that's very, very, very important. Are you going to be pro abortion, but then turn around and say the government should not get involved in facilitating women's sexual health care? You can't have it both ways. Consciously or unconsciously, you eventually will have to pick a side. Most liberal women who are serious about their politics know this and will only see such equivocation as a smokescreen used by men who don't want to be honest about their values. On a more positive note, at least now the boyfriend can find a woman who better aligns with his beliefs. I want to end with a quote from Guy de Maupassant, a 19th century French writer. Marriage to me is not a chain, but an association. I must be free, entirely unfettered in all my actions, my coming and my going. Personally, I want all relationships to reflect Guy de Maupassant's vision, and I know I am not the only one who feels this way, no matter who we vote for. But you cannot get that kind of freedom in your relationship if one or both of you are pulling in opposite directions on things you consider important. All of this relates back to the conquering mindset that men have. You can't conquer somebody that has the same views as you. You can't coerce somebody that has the same views as you. You can't manipulate someone that has the same views as you. That's not conquering because you've already met someone that you're compatible with. They don't get the opportunity to play little games that make them feel like men because they're not doing anything to feel like a man out in the real world. They're not starting a business. They're not becoming a CEO. They're not making a ton of money. They're not leading a group of men to any type of self-improvement or life-changing status. So the only way that they can formulate such type of circumstance is to do it with a woman that is going to be leaning completely opposite politically of where he is, because his dominance and his power is going to come from him convincing and coercing a woman to then take on what his beliefs are, what his morals are, what his values are. And statistically, this is proven with married women. Married women over time do start to lean politically to what their husband's beliefs are. This is all by design because that's what the goal of the male is. They rather take somebody that is not their type, take someone that doesn't have the same morals and values as them, and then use that as an opportunity to assert power, control, and dominance over the other person, because this is the only way in which that man is able to feel powerful. I wouldn't even ask men this question if I was out dating. I would just simply sit back and observe what his response is to certain types of things. Something happening in the news when it comes to women and women's rights. Just knowing how a man feels about women generally is already going to tell you where he leans politically. Because just by asking, they already know that women have a certain type of preference. So of course they're going to lie. Stay safe.